Morning. So, story time. This weekend, my boys were asking me a bunch of questions about girls. They were asking me who I have a crush on now and if I'm gonna date somebody. And I'm like, nah, I'm good on my own right now. Like, I'm good. My heart's hurting and then I'm healing and there's a lot going on and, it's just the way it is. And ask me questions about ex-girlfriends and stuff, and I mean they know I've only dated a few girls in my whole life. There's not a recreational dater. It's from the beginning of time for me. It's been I'm gonna try to find a wife. I want to get married, I want to have kids, I want to be with the same person for my whole life. Just that person. I don't care about anybody else. Just give me one person. And they're asking about my first girlfriend, and I was like, really, it's my first real girlfriend would have been in high school, my senior year. I had girlfriends before that. One girl that I kind of dated. I mean, we sat next to each other at football games in middle school, a couple football games. It only lasted a couple weeks. But, outside of that, I didn't have, a girlfriend. I just didn't. I had one goal in mind. So, senior year, it's kind of ironic, I suppose, is that my first girlfriend, then I met in the same teacher's class as my ex-wife. It's kind of weird, but anyway, we had class together, and we'd always flirt with each other, and she was a pacer, and which is the dance team at our high school, and we'd flirt. We flirted for the whole semester, and everybody in the class knew it. And even when the teacher rearranged the seats, because I was kind of the wild child, she'd always sit me by her because she knew I'd behave if I was next to her. And so we sat next to each other, flirted the whole time. And I actually, while I was in that class, it was when I got my first DUI. Well, my only DUI. I've only gotten one. And so I missed a couple days or a day for school because I was in jail. And came back and they gave me crap about it, whatever. But as time got closer to prom, I wanted to ask her so bad, and I was terrified to ask her because I was crushing hard. I was already in love with this girl, and we had not hung out outside this class, and I just wanted to ask her so bad. Just wanted to ask her. And it was funny because walking through the halls, I was talking to one of the girls that was in that class, and we were just chatting, and she was like, "Are you gonna ask her to prom?" And I was like, I want to. She's like, "Yeah, you guys should definitely go together because you guys are always flirting." And I was like, "Really?" You kind of had to have that outside influence to tell you yo, dude, she's interested, big time, right? And so something I want to clarify too is throughout high school, I wore only sweatpants. My hair was always a mess. I didn't wash it. It just was a mess. It was all over the place. I just didn't really care much. I wasn't dirty. I didn't stink. But I just whatever. I don't care. And So finally, I worked up enough courage. I was sitting by the door, the front door, and I knew this is when she usually comes in. And I'm like, okay, come on, dude, you gotta do this. You gotta do this. You gotta ask her. And she comes in, and I was just like, hey. She's like, what's up? And I was like, so, I was like, are you going to prom with anybody? She's like, no. I was like, well, I was like, would you want to go with me? She's like, yeah. She's like, but one rule. I was like, oh man. She's like, you gotta comb your hair. And I said, absolutely. I'm like, duh, without question. And I was so happy. I was like, that was perfect. So, like, I was extremely excited about it. And, we hung out before that. And then we went to prom. It was like, to that point, like the best night of my life. We danced, we had fun. Afterwards, we went to a friend's house and uh, hung out and sat in the hot tub. And, I got to kiss her for the first time. And, like, I was just like, this is an awesome night. And so, like, back then also, I partied a lot. And, like, she didn't. And we didn't party that night. We didn't drink, nothing. Just hung out with all of her friends. And it was just, like, amazing. Just amazing. Like, I had the best time. And so after that, like, we started hanging out. And then we started dating. It was, like, right before summer, And so, like I said, it was my senior year. And I think I've talked about this before, but I didn't graduate that year. I skipped my freshman year and started as a sophomore and then just kind of messed around and just didn't graduate with my class. And so I was going to have to stick around for another year. But we dated that whole summer. We spent like a lot of time together. I was head over heels in love with her. And and I told her, and she told me she loved me too. And it was an awesome summer. But as the summer wound down and stuff, like, kind of came to the realization, like, I've got to stay here and finish school. She's leaving for college. She was golfing in college, and she's a smart girl. And we were going to try to make it work, and then we didn't. And we broke up. And I was devastated, obviously, because, like, I was ready. I would have married her on the spot. And, she left for college, and I actually went up there and spent some time with her. Like, on her first weekend in college, we hung out. We went to some parties there. And then, I came back home and went back to school. And, I was trying to get over it. And, one night we were super hammered. And apparently I called her and said some pretty mean things that I don't really remember saying. And got in trouble for it. I actually ended up getting probation for it. But like a year later, we ran into each other, and I was able to apologize to her. Told her I was sorry. I was like, I don't even remember doing it. Was heavily drinking that night. And she forgave me. We were friends, and I wouldn't say we're like friends now, but uh, we're acquaintances, and uh, I care about her. And I actually had the opportunity a few years ago. I went to her parents' house and did work, and was able to sit down with her parents. And I just, because they didn't recognize me when I went in, and I was just like, once I got done with the job, I was just like, I don't know if you guys recognize me or remember me. And you could see that they recognized me as soon as I said that, and they gave me hugs, and we sat down, and I actually cried, and I apologized to them for what had happened, and I asked for their forgiveness, and they forgave me, and we had a good talk, and it was really good, and it was healing, and sometimes we make mistakes, and uh, God's forgiveness is great, and her dad actually ended up passing away not too long after that, so I'm really grateful that I was able to do that before that happened, and yeah. But she's married now with kids and has a good life, and that makes my heart happy. And she deserves it. She was always a wonderful woman, and I'm very grateful that I had that small amount of time with her. And so that, that was my first real girlfriend, and yeah. Anyway, that's my story time for today. It's kind of a long one, I guess, but yeah, I'll do another one sometime soon. God bless. Be kind. Love ya.